Good evening, everybody. Now, I know that my sound might be out. To wait and see. Right. Hello, hello, hello. Thank you very much for joining me. It's day 6. Now, as I say, I know the sound might be out. I've had a little bit of computing problems today, so I'm waiting for just confirmation of that. The truth is we're mainly on the overhead and the side camera, so I think I can live with it as long as you can hear me okay. That's the main thing. I'm just getting confirmation now from our Nicola. So I'd like to just not let you see my mouth, because I don't think the words fit, so just bear with me while we have that confirmation. But yes, we are on star number 5, which is amazing, isn't it? How the time has flown over the last few days, and to think we actually started this on Boxing Day is quite incredible. Right, let's have a look, see if we've got any comments. Let's have a look. Now, just wait for Nicola. Out of sync, that's okay. We can put up with that, a little crackly, but okay. Yeah, I knew the microphone wasn't right, but we will spend most of our time on the side camera and the overhead. I know how annoying it is when the mouth doesn't fit the words. That's why I'm putting my hand here. So I will crack on and go straight away on the overhead, because that's always the best option when things aren't quite as they should be. So there we go. Now I'm going to show you photos from yesterday that have been made with star number 4. So I'm just going to get those on my screen. Just bear with. And that's it. Okay. So now I haven't put this on no Wi-Fi, so we might get some funny messages come through, so I'll get those deleted. So just looking quickly at some of the stars that were made yesterday. As I say, I apologise for the sound. I'll keep reminding you all the way through that sound is a little bit dodgy today, but as long as I don't have to go on my phone, because that's my worst case scenario. Anyway, we've got Karen's star there, which is absolutely gorgeous, absolutely lovely. Then we've got our lovely Carol Mills, and she's done her block as well. Then we've got Jane, and Jane has shown us all 4 blocks here, which is super, aren't they? I love the colours on those, Jane. Really lovely. Yes, it's cracking, is it, Karen? Yeah. If it gets too bad, I can swap to my phone and we'll just have to have 2 videos. But let me know if it's too bad, okay? Susan, she's caught up now with the blocks, and she's done 2. She's done 2 variations of block 4. So I think both are lovely, to be honest. Sue says she's all ready for tonight. So that's fantastic. And then we've got Anne Bastable as well. She's completed her star, and that looks amazing. And then we've got Jane as well with her lovely vibrant colours with her batiks. I think it's beautiful. I love the orange tones. I really do. My favourite. And Shirley, block 4 completed. So that's looking gorgeous. And the fabric is actually navy blue. And maybe if you go on to the Making It Special page, you'll be able to see the colours better than what you're seeing on my phone. And again, we got our lovely Nora and star 4 complete, again with those gorgeous orange colours. And lovely Jeanette, who's with her very, very muted green tones. So yeah, that looks very, very delicate, Jeanette. And for those of you that are worrying about your white fabric, there was a couple of you that were using white fabric, I wouldn't change. I would wait and see what it looks like with the wadding and the backing on, because the wadding changes things completely. So I would say stick with it. You'll be surprised how it looks. Carol says she had trouble finding us tonight. Well, we're always on the same page, so I don't understand. Technical wise, yes, I'm having problems, but you shouldn't have any problems, apart from the fact that I'm a bit crackly. I understand. Okay, so now this is the interesting one, guys, because it's the foundation paper piece project for tonight. Let me get the star. So I'll keep on apologising every now and again about the sound. I do, as I say, I do apologise. I've tried a gazillion things in the last hour to try and rectify this, but I haven't been able to. As I say, if it gets too much, you must say, and I can always revert to my phone, but it means stopping this video and restarting, okay? But I'm aware, yes, I'm aware, Pat, that I'm crackling. So, as I say, let me know if it's so bad that you lose interest, that you go away, that you're not enjoying it, okay? Because I will revert to my phone, okay, if necessary. But we'll have to start again, which you may or may not want to do. But I need to know, because otherwise I don't want to get too far and then we have to stop. So I shall keep my phone on in case any of my team tell me that it's too bad. Just bear with. Right. Okay. All right for the moment. Right. Star 5. Now, star 5 is now where we're going to do foundation paper pieced. And actually, foundation paper piecing, although it may look very intimidating and a little worrying, and it's kind of, it doesn't follow the usual paths of patchwork in a way that perhaps you're aware of, but it's really accurate. And you'll notice in this pattern you've got this kind of funny shape here, both sides, and that's to sort of make sure that the triangles of the star are all the same, okay? Otherwise these would have to come out to here. Now, if we hadn't done it on foundation paper piecing, I would have to have Y seams. You'd have to have Y seams, okay? And that would be sort of here, here, and here. So you and again. So I thought it was better and actually easier, because Y seams are not the easiest things to do, but foundation paper piecing is. It really is, okay? Oh, it's not your sound, Judith. It's definitely mine. Don't worry. But I need to know if you're coping with it. If not, I will redo it, because this has to go on to YouTube as well, and I want it to be okay for YouTube, as well as you guys, of course. So, now then, there is some notes down here at the bottom, and I really, really want you to take notice of this, because it says that there will be waste fabric from all these cuts. Now, the cuts I've given you are generous, and the reason for that is to make sure that your pieces fit together without you worrying that they're going to be wrong, okay? So there are other ways of doing foundation paper piecing, but for you today, for us doing this project, this is by far the easiest way, but there is waste. So please be aware of that, and you'll be perhaps shocked at the amount of waste from the cuts. But it says if you are nervous or unfamiliar with FPP, this is the easiest method. And I have for this star 6 added photos to help you. Yeah, so it's actually star 5. Oh yeah, sorry, I have, and for this star and star 6 added photos to help you. Okay, star 6 is very similar. So I have given you quite a visual on how to start foundation paper piecing, just in case you forget, just in case you don't go back onto the video, that it's there just as a aid memoir. Okay, so cut 6 pieces 7.5 by 4 inches from the light fabric templates B1, B3, C1, C3, D1, 3. Do you know what? I really wouldn't worry about that. Just cut 6 pieces 7.5 by 4 from the light fabric. Cut 1 piece 8 by 8 from the medium fabric, and cut 6 pieces 4.5 by 4.5 from the dark fabric. So although I've given you the template information there, that might be just a wee bit too much information for you, but I would just look at cut, cut and cut. That way you've got all the pieces that are correctly sized. Okay, so with all of that out of the way, and it's a pity I couldn't have my usual natter, but I knew it would irritate the heck out of you. because I know my technology is playing up. But there we are. That's how it is. So I've cut my pieces, and the first thing we do is we iron them. We best press them, we iron them. Now if some of your pieces aren't quite the right size, for instance, and they're a little bit short, a little bit narrower, this is very forgiving, okay, because I've given you really nice sized pieces, okay, which sounds a bit odd, but oh, Judy says she does enjoy FPP. Oh, you're very welcome, Judy. So I'm just going to give these an iron now. So as you know by now, using the spray really helps. Really helps. I'll just put that on there, and that's wet, but that's okay. We can always bring it back in. And as I say, these are quite chunky pieces. I mean, when you look at the templates, and we'll look at those in just a second, they're quite big pieces, to be honest, and there's not many pieces, which is nice. So we'll get these ironed up. Doesn't take long, and it gives you time to have a look at the pattern. And it could be that you think that none of this is for you. It could be that you'll think, oh gosh, no, nah. Okay, so that's the 6 light pieces. This is our big centerpiece with the medium. Excuse me. And we'll just give that a nice iron. As you know, ideally you're going to let this best press or whatever you're using soak into your fabric. Leave it for a moment, and then it just spreads out. It's much better. So these are our dark star pieces. So what have you been up to today? Tell me your stories. Have you done anything? Because it's New Year's Eve. My gosh, that's come around so quick. Always does though, doesn't it? Always does. So tell me where you've been today. Yes, and a Happy New Year to you as well, Karen. Yeah, we'll wish that to everybody at the end. And if necessary, I will work on my tech tomorrow at some point. I'm out all day, but I'll find some time to have a look at it and see if I can correct it. And I'll redo it if necessary, so it's no bother. Okay, that's lovely. Right, so all our fabric is prepared, it's all ironed, it's all beautiful. So now we can look at our pattern pieces. Now I did say to you in the pattern somewhere that you need to attach a couple of pieces. So this is the first piece that you need to attach. It's just a little bit that's on one of the pages. I think it's on a page with that shape on. And I would just join it. Don't put the tape all the way across, okay? Just put little bits of tape where you're not going to stitch. So I put 2 little pieces of tape there. You've just got to make sure that you line up the dotted lines. Do you see where the dotted line is along here and to there? Just line those up, okay? And the other piece is this one, which is the main piece, and we've got this piece attached along here. So there's 2 separate pieces there, and it's quite obvious in the templates provided what they are. And these are all A's, so you know, A1, A2, A3, A4, so all the A's are joined together here. If I look at that one, that's all B's, that's all C's, and that's all D's. If you look at the pieces, you'll see what I mean. So again, look for the dotted line or the dashed line along here and along here and here, and line those all up. This straight edge should be absolutely perfect, okay, which it is. So you just got to shift it over, shift it over, shift it over until all of those meet, and you've got that perfect that perfect line going around here, okay? Good. So the next stage is you need a piece of card. So obviously I use one of my postcards, and you're going to use the card to actually bend all of these pieces, and the picture for that is in the instructions. This is the first bit, and you're going to do it with all of the pieces, not just this triangle. You're going to do it with them all, and you're going right across regardless of if there's anything else in its way, and you'll see in a minute what I mean by that. And when I cut them out, and you can either do this or you don't need to, cut them out just beyond the dash line. If you cut them out on the dash line, that's fine. That would be your raw edge. But I tend to cut just beyond the dash line, okay? So make sure they're lovely and creased, and then we go through all of the others. So like I say, don't worry about whether they go on to other pieces. So let me just line that up. So in other words, that fold goes right the way across. You can see quite clearly it goes right the way across, and then we're going to go right across it again on here. And you're doing this obviously with the paper right side facing you. And like I say, there are other methods of doing foundation paper piecing, but I thought this would be great for everybody, this particular method. But like I say, you will have waste. So I need to emphasise that in case you get cross with me. Sorry, I'll just move that in a little bit. Everything's changed on my desk. This always happens. You just run along really smoothly, and then something then happens. So you can see all of those lines creased, and this is the last one. So all you're doing is folding the triangle in the centre. Okay. And this one here. So you've got some lovely creases to really help you with your cutting and lining up. Okay, so that's all that done, and then we need our add a quarter. Now if you haven't got an add a quarter, you can use an ordinary ruler, and that's absolutely fine, but you're looking for a 1/4 inch all the time. With the add a quarter, you've got something to butt up to. Can you see that lip on there? That's really handy. Okay, so bear that in mind. Right, so I'm going to get all of those pieces out of the way, and I'm just going to concentrate on this one. Now you do have to have a mat to one side on your desk when you do foundation paper piecing, because we're cutting all the time. So the first thing you need to do is get your big 8x8 middle centerpiecey bit, and you're putting, I know with batik it's particularly awkward for me to show you. This is why I love batik, because it doesn't matter which way. The first piece you're putting right side down onto your desk, okay, and then you're putting your template over the top. It doesn't really matter where your template goes, because as I say, I've been very generous with your fabrics. And then what you're going to do is fold this over. Now let me just put a pin in here, because what I was going to say is pop a pin in to hold it all down. You don't want the pin anywhere near a stitching line. These solid lines here are stitching lines. Okay, so let's fold that over, and then you're going to take your add a quarter ruler or your regular ruler, and you're going to cut away a 1/4 inch away from that fabric. So just cut away. Okay, if you wanted to, you could cut away 1/8 of an inch. It doesn't have to be 1/4 of an inch, it's up to you. But with foundation paper piecing, if the pieces are really small, I would suggest 1/8 of an inch. Okay, so now we need to put our dark square on. So your first piece is right side down, your second piece is right side up. Okay, and all I'm going to do is tuck that under there, and I'm going to line that up. So I'm going to do it and then I'll show you. You've got it in the pattern, and And you're just lining that first square up with the raw edge that you've just trimmed. Can you see? And these are right sides, oops, let's get it again. These are right sides together. Okay, these are right sides together. So keep looking at your fabrics and make sure that you've got them right sides together. And that first piece is lovely because you can line it up with your 1/4 inch mark, and it's all super. It really is. It lies really flat. The other thing you could consider is this shape underneath here. This triangle must fit your scrap. So you could lift your piece of fabric and paper up and just make sure that your triangle fits. It will, because I've made sure it will, but you want to make sure that you're comfortable with that. And then again, you can take your pin out, put it back in, and then you're picking up both layers, so they shouldn't move. And we're now going to stitch all the way along here. So I'm going to move all my bits. Now tell me if I'm going too quick. Okay, tell me if I'm going too quick, because I will slow down. But I didn't want this to be too long a video because of the simple fact that it's poor quality. Right, I'm taking my stitch length right down. You could take it down to 1.4, 1.2. I'll keep mine on 1.4, and we'll just move you hopefully to the side camera where we're nicely set up. Okay, so this is my fabrics. I've just lifted up off my desk, so as we were, and I've folded back my triangle, and I'm just going to stitch along here, and I'm going to start stitching. Now if you've cut to that dash line, that's fine. You're going to start stitching there, and you're going to go all the way across and off the end. Okay, and as I say, your stitch length should be 1.2, 1.4, something like that. It's a really tiny stitch, and because it's tiny, it means that your paper will easily rip away. That's all it's for. So all the way across. There we are. And I'll use my thread cutter because it's quick. So that's my line of stitching going all the way across. Okay, I'll take my pin out, and then at the back I'm just going to flip that back, and I'm just going to put a cool iron on that. So just on my mat here, let's just move you out and you'll be able to see. I'm just going to finger press it down, and I'm going to just switch my iron on to cool. It just helps hold it. You don't have to iron. You could use a seam roller, or just use, finger press. So that's what your piece now looks like. Okay, don't worry that it's too big. Don't worry that it doesn't fit. All of this will be resolved in due course. So that's our first. Now with this particular design, it's quite nice because it's just a repeat. It's literally a repeat. So this is our next triangle. We're going to fold it back. We've already done that beautifully, and I'm just going to get my add a quarter. You can use an ordinary ruler, and I'll do that when we've settled down into it. I just need to get rid of my machine that way, and then you're going to cut away. Now I've got a longer ruler somewhere, which obviously I'm not going to be able to find. Let's have a look. Yep. And you don't have to use a longer ruler. It's just, it might be easier for me in this particular instance. You can just move the ruler along, or you can just free cut. So again, I'm just going to cut all the way across. Keep the waist, and then you're going to get your second square. Okay, and you want to match it up with these points here, these sort of end points here. So you can see that it already lines up, but we need to take it underneath, right sides together, and just pop it on top. It's ever so easy. Pop it on top till your lovely seams match. Push that back, and what we'll do is we'll pop a pin in, knowing that we're pinning all the layers, the paper, your first layer and your second layer, which is underneath here. Look, There it is. Yep. Now I hope this is all okay for you. When it comes to you got pictures of this, so this is actually great because you've got the pictures and the video. Hopefully, if you can understand me and hear me. Right, so we need to now take it to the sewing machine, and once again we're going to stitch from here all the way across to here. As I said, if you've cut on that dash line, that is absolutely fine. Just make sure that you start on that dash line because that's your seam allowance, that's where your raw edge is going to be. Okay, so let's pop you onto the side camera and we'll just stitch those two layers together. When you get it to the machine, just check and make sure it's all sitting still nice and square, and then you're just stitching across that line. It's as easy as that. Nothing difficult with foundation paper piecing. And if you, like me, if you use batiks, it's so easy. So easy. Okay, so that's my stitching line again. Okay, so what it looks like on the back. Alright. And then if I pull the pin out, all I'm going to do is push that square out of the way, give it a finger press, or just get your cool iron. It's not a hot iron, it's got to be a cool iron. We don't want to really tell the fabric what to do at this stage. Okay, and that's what it looks like. So it looks a bit odd at the moment. It looks like you're making some sort of spaceship. We kind of are, really. Okay, we're making a star, aren't we? So now we've got two squares attached. So now we need to look at this third one, and this is our third and final one. We've already done the fold line, so fold that back and give it a squidge. And once again, we're going to take our add a quarter ruler or your ordinary one. So if you want to use your ordinary one, let me show you what you would do. If I can get hold of it. There we go. Let me line it up. So if you're using your ordinary ruler, you're going to overhang your folded paper edge by 1/4 inch. Okay, there you can see quite clearly that dash line there is your 1/4 inch line. Okay, if I lift it up, can you see the dash line? Move it across a bit. You can see the dash line. And so all you're going to do is line that up and do exactly the same and cut that away. Okay, absolutely gorgeous. If you've got an add a quarter or even add an eighth, perfect. Okay, so as we were, there's our lovely straight cut edge. You're going to get the right side of your fabric facing you here. You're going to slide it under and make sure that the edges of your square kind of match the edges of your triangle there. Mine are a little bit bigger because I didn't cut straight to the dashed edge, but that's fine, that's fine. So I've lined up my fabric so they meet. They're sitting directly underneath, you can see. Flipping that back, I'll put my pin in just to hold everything. It's kind of like a safety net because we have to take it to the machine and it could easily slip. So let's get it under the machine and we're going to just stitch like we did before all the way across. There we go. And it takes a little longer because the stitch length is so small, so you won't whiz across your paper. You'll have a gentle trot. Okay, so there's the front, there's the back. Let's take the pin out, lift the square up, and that's our third triangle covered. You're covering that shape. That's what it's all about. Okay, so let's just give that a little gentle iron, not much, and let's take it to our mat because we'll trim these as we go. Excuse me. All right, let's get you on the overhead. Now, obviously, maybe I'll just zoom out a little bit. Okay, that should do it. can use a bigger mat, obviously. So you can use your add a quarter ruler to trim this off, but you don't want to use the ridge, okay? There's no point, because we're not butting our ridge up to anything. We just want a ruler to cut with. So I would flip your ruler, add a quarter ruler if that's what you're using, flip it over so the ridge is this side, and you're just using this as your cutting utensil, if you like. So now what we're doing is, now we've pressed our squares, you can see what they look like, that's kind of sticking out, and we're going to trim on the dashed line. We're not going to trim on the solid line, we're trimming on the dashed line. So I'll stand up for this. If you've got a longer ruler, use it. Depends what you've got on your desk. Okay, so all the way across. So you can see now what I mean about waste. It's quite a bit, but that's deliberate. So this is really super easy for you. And cut again. Okay, and cut again. So we'll repeat this process with all the other pieces. So by the time I'm finished, you'll be pros. And actually, if you ever get the chance of doing more FPP, take it, because it's a lovely, lovely thing to do, really is. Okay, so on the paper side it looks, okay, it's a bit of paper. If we flip it over, you've got a beautiful, very, very neat piece of patchwork, okay? And then of course we've got the other pieces now to prepare. So it's all the same again. Now it doesn't matter which piece we pick up, let's just pick up this one. Or shall I do it in order? Oh no, I'll do it like this. Okay, so here we go. So all you need to do now is to know what colours you're putting where. Now on C1 and C3, if you go back to your instructions, right, you'll see on here C1, C3, C1, C3 is the light fabric, and C2 is the dark fabric here. Okay, so it is on there, it's just perhaps now it might make sense. But what you could do is write on it, light, light, dark. Couldn't be easier, right? But we need to do this in some sort of order, all right? So C1 is the first piece you put down. So let's get our C1 fabric, which is the light, and put our template over the top. Now you want the template to fit the fabric. So the template is this shape, right? This shape here, to the dashed line. That's your shape. So you can see quite clearly that my fabric fills that shape. Okay? If you look at it, definitely fills it. So I'm really happy with that. So I'm going to stick a pin in. Let me get a different pin to that one. Where's my white pin gone? Oh, I'll get another one. I'll get a yellow. No, I'll get a blue pin. Right. Oh, it's a bent one. Hold on. Right, so I'm just going to hold that in place. Keep it away from all the cutting lines. Okay, happy? And then I'm just going to turn it, and I'm going to fold that line. We've already folded it all the way down, can you see? So I'm just going to fold it over. You're just following your lines that you've already drawn, already folded. And I'm just going to use my little ruler now, because it's much more handy. Oh, Jerry says, I was excited we were doing FPP. My first time was with a pillow we made in a workshop a few years ago. It challenged me, but loved doing it. Oh, it is lovely, Jerry. I love foundation paper piecing. You know, I did that course last year with Barushka. Oh my gosh, that was wonderful. That was wonderful. Right, okay, so we've cut our piece. So we've prepared the first piece. Now I know, because we've written on it, the second piece is dark. Okay, I mean, we've only got dark and lights left, so it can't be too difficult. And you want to make sure that you're lining up your edges as we did before, so it covers the shape that's underneath. So I would butt it up like this, and then I literally just get hold of it and move it over and sit those two bits together like that. Okay, if you're using proper foundation FPP paper, which you can get from Paper Trace, you can see your shapes underneath. Okay, you can see your shapes, but we can just lift our shapes up and have a look. This is the shape we're interested in underneath there, and I can tell immediately that that shape is going to fit that fabric. Okay, I'm absolutely confident that that's perfectly placed, but you can see how I did it. I lined it all up, pushed it across. Okay, so I'll do that all the time, so you'll be really confident with oh, nice blunt pin, that's good. I've probably moved all the fabric now. Let's have a look. Oh, it's not too bad. We'll keep it like that. So now all you're going to do is open up your work again, and you're going to just stitch along this line. Now this time you've got a kind of a junction here, so you can either start from there and work out, or you can come from the outside in. Ideally you're going to stop on that line, but do you know what? Actually, it doesn't matter if you don't. So you could go over that line a couple of stitches or one stitch. Okay, I don't lose any sleep about going over that line. Okay, so in other words, we're not going to go like that. We're not going to carry that line right down there. We're going to stop, say here, right? If you're going to stop there, just obviously you need to keep an eye on your machine and where your needle's going. Okay, that's all it is. So nothing to worry about. So all we're going to do now is go to the machine, and we're going to stitch along that line from there to there. Okay? So, is this making sense to you? Are you feeling okay about it? I need to know if you are, because if you're not, I'll go slower and I'll go more carefully. But we're going to repeat it for, you know, another few pieces, because the technique is the same whatever you do, and we're going to repeat this tomorrow night. Not tomorrow night, the next night. I'm doing something different tomorrow night. Okay, so there's my stitch line, can you see? And if I turn it round, there's my stitch line. Yeah. Take the pin out. Oh, thank you guys. Thanks, Kath. And then push it back. Okay, and we just want to run the iron over that. And because I've been really generous with your fabrics, you really will find this easy. If you don't find this easy after the second or third attempt, you know, I'll find a different way of doing it. So now folding it back, I want you to have a look. So now we have covered that dark fabric. So don't forget, your first piece goes right side down. All your other pieces on your project, on your bit, are right side up. That's the only difference. That first piece is right side down. Okay, so let's go on the overhead. I'm really enjoying this. I can't even tell you how much I'm enjoying it. So I'm just going to fold this on this line now, because this is where we're going to stitch. And if you have stitched past your line, then just find your fold and just rip your paper a wee bit. That is perfectly acceptable. Your fabric you're not going to rip, are you? But ripping your paper is perfectly fine. You're going to line up your rotary cutter, and you're cutting and trimming away those pieces. All right, so from a square, let me show you on the front, from a square we've chopped off a bit, so we folded it back and we trimmed it. Now I know the next piece is light, and I tell you why. It tells me, or it tells you in the pattern. C3, 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 light. Okay, C3 light. Phew. Okay, so fold it back. Let's just move that a little bit. Get your piece, and as I said, this is all very generous. Well, I won't apologise for that because I think you need it. And we're just lining up. So there's my piece. I'm just coming over the top of it, right sides together, and I'm lining up. Now this time, your shape, I don't think you can see it. You might be able to, but the edge of my shape is here. Okay, my edge of my shape is here. So you need to make sure that your piece underneath covers that shape, all right? And down here as well. So these are almost sitting parallel on top of each other, okay? Let me just lift that up. Okay, you can see that. I mean, I could make that absolutely parallel, but you can see what that looks like. So we're happy with that. So you're folding that back. Gosh, I'm so enjoying myself. This is my favourite thing in the world. I don't do enough of it. So pin it to hold it because we're taking it to the machine and it might wriggle. If you're brave and once you've done a few, you might not need to. And that's okay as well. No rules. So once again, we're going to start from that outside edge, line up your foot and your needle, and you're coming all the way across. And it will take longer to go across because it's a tiny, tiny stitch. And all the way over. So you're going past this dash line. If you cut on that line, that's fine. That is absolutely fine. Stitch length is 1.2, 1.4. I wouldn't go any larger. And when we get to the point of Y, you know, to that point, and I talk to you about that, then I will explain all. Okay, here we go. This is the moment of truth. So we've just stitched along there. I'm getting excited. Flip it over, get your cool iron and just push that seam out. You could use a seam roller or finger press, but just make sure that that's a lovely shape that you've got there. Lovely, lovely pressed line. I do like a pressed line, and that's what we've got. And it looks a mess. Always does. Looks amazing when you cut it. So I'm going to use my regular ruler, and then we're cutting on that dash line again. So, and this is only like going to be your raw edge. So if you haven't cut very well, I'm just going to leave them there for a minute so you can see the waste. You don't need paper waste. Yeah. I've forgotten what I was going to say. Oh yeah, because this is just the seam allowance, and the stitching line you've got here. So as long as you haven't cut that, you're fine. Even if your seam allowance ends up being 1/8 of an inch, that's fine. As I say, it's very forgiving. It's wonderful. You get the most amazing points. Okay, so look, that isn't such a huge piece of waste. Some would say yes, it is. I would say not. But that can always be used for crumb quilting. And this is all about giving you confidence to do the work. Right, now what do you reckon to that? It's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Because it's foundation paper pieced. Okay, so let's just pop that to one side. So you know what? We're going to repeat that. because we have to. Right, so now I'm looking at D1, D2, D3. Let's write on it. We know that's going to be light, we know that's going to be dark. You can write your colours, and this is light. So you could put, I don't know, red, pink, white. No, that would be, if that's red, that's going to be red. Anyway, these two are going to be the same regardless. That's the one that's different because that's your star. Okay, so let's get our fabric ready. So D1 is the first one, D1, D2, D3, first, second, third. Okay, so let's fold this over. This is your D1. Now, in this instance, I would have a little think about the shape of this, right? Because you want that to cover that. Okay. Let me have a think. I'm having to have a think. There we go. Thinking, hold on, that's not right either. Yes, so you need to make sure that your whole shape is covering that bit. Now, although it's, oops, hold on. Although it's coming off the line here, do you see? If I lift that back, it only goes as far as there. All right. And if I folded that back, it fits. So it kind of plays with your mind sometimes. So if I fold that back again, I know that that fits because that fits here. And if you remember on the other one, it does kind of sit parallel, so it's all good. So let's pop a pin in there. So like I said, sometimes the angles are a bit weird, but if you just follow the process, you'll be fine, I promise you. So get your add a quarter ruler, or your regular ruler is absolutely fine, and you're just going to trim that back. So don't forget, that's right sides down, that first piece. Okay, so there's our piece cut. Then you're going to get your red. We've forgotten it's dark, so that's my dark red. And you're just going to slide that underneath. Now the edge of that is here, okay? The edge of that is here. So when I line that up, I want that to come right up here. And it may seem a bit weird at first. So the edge of my red is just beyond that line there, or the piece of paper basically. All right, and then I'm going to flip it back and I'm going to move my pin and get all the layers together like that. Okay, so nothing has changed, everything is as it was, it's just the opposite to what we've just done. So now it's pinned, it's safe to go to the machine. So we'll just get the machine. Okay, take it up to the machine, and we're just going to stitch that line. So start from just outside the dash line or on the dash line, all the way down, and stop just on the line, or just beyond is absolutely fine. Yeah, it is, Jerry. Yeah, it is. So there's my stitch line. Okay, if I pull the pin out, there's a stitch line on the back. And all I'm going to do is flip that over and, oh, hold on. Oh, have I done that wrong? Now how on earth did I do that? I've definitely done that wrong, guys. Right, talk amongst yourselves. This is where it's going to be difficult to pull this out because of the size of the stitch. I can't believe I've done that. Well, I can. I think I'm still just worrying about my tech, but anyway, excuses. So I'm just going to unpick this, just a sec. Let me take it down. How's that happened? How does that happen? How's that worked? How does that... That's thrown me completely. Let's just undo this. I don't think I'll need to cut any fabric because it's batik. It's very forgiving. So at least you can say, well, she got it wrong when you come to do it. And you think, hold on, how did that happen? You can say, well, Liz did it wrong, so it's okay. It's okay if I've done it wrong too. Oh, how funny. How funny. Lovely. I don't mind. Gosh. We can do worse things, can't we? Now the thing about stitching in the paper, because we've done such a small stitch, you'll find your paper becomes quite delicate. So try not to tear it. It'll be quite easy to do that at this stage. So just just keep an eye on your paper and don't pull it about too much. Tidy up your fabric a bit. There we go. I know, Dawn, I know. Oh my gosh. Honestly, can't make it up. You can't make it up. Right, okay. So I'm just thinking, can I do it like that? I think I can. So I have this feeling I'm going to do this again. How bizarre. Right, so I've cut that as we did. I'm going to put it against that edge. I'm going to put my dark fabric underneath. Do exactly what I did before, but concentrate. Bring my fabric over. In fact, let's pin it, because let's stick by the rules. Let's pin it. That's it, like that. Pinning it really secures it and keeps it really safe. That's it. Slide your piece underneath. So there's our edge. So slide our piece underneath, and you want to bring it down so it's lined up. There. And if you're not sure, just flip it back and then it should sit in the right position. So if you're not sure, let me show you. If you're not sure, when you flip that back, you know you're going to cover that triangle. Okay, so if you're not sure, just do that little trick and that'll help you. Let me just get that lined up again. Right, here we go. Hold on, let me get that lined up. I'm sticking to it. Pop a pin in and let's stitch. Oh dear, I knew that was wrong because you stitch from this seam rather than the other seam. So I was thinking to myself as I was going along, I don't think that's right. But as I say, your paper will become quite weak, so you might have to print off another one if you rip it, because you need the paper for the accuracy. Okay, there's my stitch line. There's the other side. And then if I flip it back, you know that's going to cover the triangle now. If I take it that side, you can see, look, it's going to cover that triangle. And then just give it a little iron. Keep doing that because that really does help. And then let's have a look from the overhead this time as well. Okay, so we've now got our dark piece underneath there. If I move that back, you can see that that dark triangle is sitting very nicely where it should do. So this is our next fold line along here, yeah? So ignore the fact that you've folded all the way along there. That's pure convenience. We know it's a light that we need as well next. So fold your paper back, get your ruler and cut, and then get your next piece and pop that underneath. And again, you're going to make it parallel, so your whole piece fits inside. So this is the piece that you want to cover with the light fabric. Just make sure it sits on here okay. So fold that back. Now we are going to run over, everyone, as long as you're okay with that. But at least we'll see it put together, which is absolutely the main thing. So stitch all the way along, little tiny stitches, and cut. Thanks, Dawn. Okay. Oh, sorry, I wasn't on the right camera. I do apologise. I was just stitching the line. Okay, pin out. So there's my stitch line, all the way across from there to there. That's what it looks like on the back. Now all I'm going to do is flip that over. Give that a little iron, because it's a warm iron. I'm okay with it on my cutting mat. You just want to watch it. And then we're going to trim it. We've got one more piece to do. Oh, wrong ruler. And then we can put them together, and you can see how to put them together. And actually I do show you on the pattern itself. So all the way along there. that one's right on the edge anyway, so that's good. All the way along here. And it's a lovely, lovely process. And although it seems a little bit cockeyed, I suppose is a good word, it works out beautifully. Okay, so there's our second side done. And look at that, it's absolutely gorgeous. Right, let's quickly do the last bit. And these are the B's, B1, B2, B3, okay? And these are slightly different because of the angles of it all. So the first one is our B1, which is here. So put your light, or whatever tone you decided is going to be your light, right side down, and pop this over the top. And fold back on that B2 line. Pin it. Let's get another pin. I keep losing my pins tonight. I think they're dropping on the floor, to be honest. Fold that back. Get your ruler and trim. Okay. Get your dark piece of fabric. You should have one piece left, and slide that underneath, just as we did before. Right sides together, and make sure they go like that. So you're covering up the entire square with the white. Flip it back, reposition your pin, and then we're going to stitch down that line. And like I say, you go from dashed line to dashed line. Okay, let's pop it under the machine. Lovely, Nicola, it is. So there's my stitch line. Take the pin out. That's what it looks like on the back. When I flip that over, you can see that it's going to cover that triangle beautifully. Okay, so let's get the next piece cut. So we're going to just give it a gentle iron. Flip it over. And then we're going to fold along this second line here, this second fold. So fold it over back on itself, and you might need to pull your stitches a little bit to release it because of how we stitched this. The stitches are in the crossover in the point of the triangle, crossover like this. So you have to rip the paper back so it releases the fabric and makes it flat. Okay, so then we're going to just trim that away. And then we're going to put our fabric underneath. Now, this angle goes out this way, so we need to follow that with our fabric. So you're going to place it on there like that. So your fabric follows the shape. Okay, so you're not going like that, you're going like that. And if you're at all worried, pin it. Pin it as if you've got a seam allowance going on there. Fold it back, flip it over and fold that back. And you can see that it's going to be perfect, okay? I suppose that's the only thing that kind of boggles your brain a little bit, is the angles of things. So that does need to, so the fabric needs to follow the shape. So I'll take that pin out now and get hold of it. Fold that back, pin, pop it under the machine, and just stitch as we did before. Okay. So there's my stitch line. That's what it looks like. Oh, I didn't trim that back, did I? That's what it looks like. and then we just fold it back and we've got the perfect piece. Well, obviously it's not perfect because we've used excess fabric, but I need to cut that. So just bear with. So we'll just trim that. Okay, and then flip that back, and then flip that back. Just get the iron on it. Okay, lovely. So now turn it over, get your regular ruler and trim. And just make sure all your fabric is sitting in there. That one just wants to twist a little bit. Just move that back a bit. There we go. I'll hold it while I'm trimming. So a longer ruler is good for this. So this piece should measure 12.5 inches, okay? Just flip it, just get it in place. Along that dashed line. And the last little piece on the end. It's the dashed line, not the solid line. Okay. So when we turn it over, you'll have lots of bits on your desk. We've turned it over, now it's trimmed. Looks absolutely amazing. Okay, really lovely. Lovely and straight. Okay, so the next thing, if you have a look at your instructions, it tells you how to piece these together. You're going to, this is your last piece, so we'll ignore that for the moment. So get your big triangle that you made. Just got to get that in front of me so I get it right. So get your big triangle that you made and lay it on your desk like that. And then you're getting the side that fits. So this is the side that fits that side. This is the side that fits that side. Okay. And then all you're going to do is flip this over, and it's got to hold on, let's just get it so you can see it. You will have an overhang on this end, okay, like you would with any triangle. And on this end, the points should meet. Now I know my pattern pieces aren't pointed. I've cut them pointed, but they should meet. So you've got all the points there, and then you can use clips. So it's the first time that I do recommend you see clips, use clips. And I want you to trust the process now. And you can look to see if your seams the points are in the right place, but actually I just want you to trust the process. And you're going to stitch all the way along this line. So you're starting at the outside edge and you're stitching all the way along that solid line, okay, all the way along. So don't sort of try to match up your points with this. You go with the paper pattern because that's perfect. And I'm using the clips merely to hold the layers together. So again, you're using tiny little stitches. Now with foundation paper piecing, I do suggest you open up the seams. Okay, so we've gone all the way along, and then when we open it up, oh, it's a wee bit out, but it's not too bad. And before you do anything else, I want you to take the paper out of the seam only, just the seam, okay, just this seam here. So just rip that away, and because you have done really tiny stitches, it'll come away really easily, she says, trying to get hold of it. And use tweezers if you need to. I will use tweezers on foundation paper piecing. And again, the other side, just take the paper out. So your seams now are free. So if we need to stitch other seams across there, it'll be you'll have less paper to worry about. Okay, so the next one is we're going to attach the other side. So let's have a little look. So that's the first side. It always is the opposite to what you've done. which always confuses everybody. And then you're going to stitch this one. In fact, let's just turn it that way around. That makes more sense. So we're going to stitch this side now. Okay, so you're just going to flip it over, match up your points, match up the corner there, and you'll always have a little sticky out bit because that's your 1/4 inch seam allowance there. Okay, so match up, make sure that fabric and everything is not moving, and then bring it down and put another clip in just to hold it. There we go. And then we're just going to stitch all the way down that long line as well now. Okay, so let's take it out to the machine. Let's just wriggle those bits. There we go. I'm a bit happy with that now. And then we're coming all the way down. Like I say, trust the process. Make sure it's all lined up. Oops, I bumped the line a little bit there. Okay, and all the way. Okay, so let's have a look at it. So that time we've got a perfect point, which I'm much happy about, but that's the seam we've just done. So again, I want you just to rip that paper out. You'll possibly find it easier in the long run. This one actually could stay in, but we'll take it out. And I want you to open your seams with this because there's some really hefty seams going on, really lots of layers. So you're only taking the 1/4 inch paper out, okay? I mean, to be honest, the others would easily come out now, but we'll keep them in. Keep them in for the time being. And the other thing to remember is when you're pulling the paper out, try not to pull at the stitches, otherwise you'll get loop stitches, which I showed you the other night. A, that's because I used a bigger stitch, because obviously I'm always in a hurry, and B, because I yanked at it and it made all the stitches loopy. So you absolutely do not want to do that, so take your time. Okay, so this is what we've got. So amazingly, we've got something that resembles a star. And then all we got to do is pop this one on, which is our last piece. So again, it's just right sides together. Line up your paper and your fabric. And use your line here as your stitching line to just keep an eye on that. And then bring it all the way down. I think I've been a bit generous that end. Bring it all the way down. If you're not sure, you can have a little look. I'm not sure that's sitting straight. Let's see. I think I'm happy with it there. Right, that's it. That's better. Just line up these ends. So you're doing exactly what you would do whether you had paper or not. You're just lining up your seams, okay? And this one as well. There we go. Sorry. There we go. So I've just lined it up. So we're just going to stitch from that edge all the way along. And then that's our star complete. So let's just do that. And then you can take all the paper out. If you were making a bigger project, they often say leave the paper in until you've completed it all, and that is good advice. So let's whiz all the way along. Make sure your edges are all sitting parallel. Just take your time. And I'm rushing now, so we can finish this. Not tomorrow, but the next night we repeat all this again. But the centre of it all is a hexagon, you know, sorry, it is a hexagon, but it's all made up of triangles. So although we repeat it, it's slightly different. Okay, so there's our piece stitched. Let's get you on the overhead. So if I push it back, there's our star. Absolutely gorgeous. Okay, it just perhaps needs a little bit of a trim, but then we've got all the paper on the back. So what I suggest now, and this has always been my top tip, and we're going to open up these seams to press, but when you pull the paper out, tear from the edge like that, and tear your paper out. Okay, tear your paper out. So find an edge, tear in the middle, take it out. If you do it the other way, you'll jeopardize these seams here. Okay, so you're taking it out. This one should just lift out like that, and as I say, get your tweezers on all these little bits. Again, with these edges here, just get your paper, tear it in the middle, and then pull it away, and all of these should come out as well. But I won't finish it all right now. I'll finish this tomorrow, make sure it's all sorted. Again, just tear and pull away, and pull away. And try to get as much of the paper out as you can. But when you come to these little edges, just be very, very careful. These should all just lift out now. And take your 1/4 inches out too, or your seams. And yeah, we've practically done it. But I'll finish that off tomorrow. But there you are. That is your 5th star. This is how it's going to go with these two pieces here. That's your sides, and this is your top and bottom. Okay, this is your top and bottom, and these bits here are your sides. That's how it should be. Right, now you know from the front it's all going to be a bit funny, so I'm not going to keep you very long. Thank you very much for watching this evening. I'll cover my mouth because it's really irritating. Thank you ever so much for this evening. It's been an absolute treat. I will try and restore my technical stuff tomorrow to make sure it's working okay. But in the meantime, have a go at making this. It's really fun. You can see even I made a mistake, which is fine. And tomorrow night we're going to join that row together. So we'll be joining that centre row together and talking about another way of those fill-in blocks. Okay, right, well, happy new year to you all. I'll see you next year. Bye.